So, hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast, and or actually video and not live stream. Currently not live streaming because it quite feels for me like not to be the best thing because I get quite distracted. The audio quality isn't too good because of the fans of my PC, and so I just decided to not do it for maybe quite a while, just to see if this is working a little bit better for me. It's just always about self-awareness, and if there is something you actually do not want to do, like this for me, then I won't do it. If it's really hurting my uh, my products, my content, and these things, I'm not gonna do this because this wouldn't make any sense, just for the cause of having maybe a little bit more visitors or more viewers um, through the live stream. But enough being said, I just always forget to quite introduce myself, and I'm quite thinking about if I should actually be doing it or not. So I'm Christopher Walch. I'm an actually 18-year-old graphic design student from Austria, and I'm pretty pumped about self-development, and I'm pretty pumped to go through this book with you today. So this book is called TED Talks by Chris Anderson, and this is basically a book on how to give presentations. The funny and the good part about this is that tomorrow I have to make a presentation, and therefore I was quite looking before for some books on body language. The thing was that on the powermoves.com website, and today I can't really, read any books anymore because there is some kind of, plugin implemented or some kind of function implemented that you can't read too many summaries because they have actually a subscription, and they easily, which I basically tremendously, and I just understand it, that they kind of want a little bit money from this because it's just quite a lot of fucking work to just summarize all these books, or he or she, or whether this is a group that make these and or just an individual. But yeah, so TED Talks by Chris Anderson is an encouraging and relatable guide on how to give a good talk. Anderson examines the importance of public speaking and the joy it brings to both the speaker and the audience. TED Talks offers ways to plan and deliver a talk and to gain some more confidence in public speaking. Using examples from some inspirational TED Talks such as Jamie Oliver or Bill Clinton, this book is easy to read and full of useful advice, tips, and tricks. If you enjoy the summary, it's also worth checking out this article, How to Give a Killer Presentation, that Chris Anderson wrote for the Harvard Business Review. So I'm currently, before I just forget to mention it, I'm on the paulminers.com website. This is some kind of my alternative if I can't go on with the powermoves.com website, because the powermoves.com is just a pretty great website. You can find so many fucking books, and they just really categorized everything, and they just rated them as well, so that you actually can see what's a good book, what's a bad book, what's worth reading, what's not worth reading. This is also a great website because they really just provide so fucking in-depth summaries, and you just get so many informations out of them and so much value out of them, which is so great. And you even can see here the contents for the YouTube viewers. But let's see, the introduction. Who is the summary for? TED Talks by Chris Anderson is an encouraging and relatable guide on how to give a good talk. A great read for anyone that has to talk in front of others, whether it's 4 or 5 people in a meeting or in front of a large audience. Anderson examines the importance of public speaking and the joy it brings to both the speaker and the audience. TED Talks offers way to plan and deliver blah 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 blah. I've read that one already, just most of it. But about the author, British Chris Anderson spent his early years growing up in Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan, alongside his father, who was a missionary eye surgeon. Anderson began a career in journalism, working in newspapers, radio stations, magazines, and online magazines. After going out on his own with the publishing company, he eventually settled and focused on the TED movement. TED is a non-profit organization that focuses on short but impactful talks called TED Talks, which are actually pretty great, and there are so many great individuals who gave a TED Talk already. For example, Stefan Sagmeister, the graphic design, who is just a pretty or a little bit educated in this field, may know him. He's just a really great, world famous graphic designer, actually from Austria. He's now currently living in New York, but he's pretty great and pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, so all topics are that are designed to spread ideas in communities all around the world. All topics are covered, and their mission is to simply spread ideas and help develop a deeper understanding of the world. Anderson is not only a TED speaker, but also one of the key curators, and has devoted a lot of his time to developing the TED movement, which is pretty great because it's free. You can get so fucking amount of knowledge, and it's just great to listen to them, and it's inspirational, and it's always something different because they are all individuals, and so it's just great to listen to them, to learn from them, and just to have them. So deeply appreciated. I hope, by the way, that you're doing so fucking and tremendously good as well. I'm doing quite fine. Talking at the moment is not quite as good, but I shouldn't blame, and I shouldn't be just dwelling and or complaining, whatever, because this just wastes my time and especially my energy that I could use for this episode, and which I will do. So in the summary will cover most of Anderson's key points and tips about, I actually go directly to the summary because I do not want to waste your time, and I'm already 7 minutes in, and I do not have that much time today. So So Anderson explains that there is no simple formula for public speaking. There is no single way to go about it and to be sure you are giving a great talk. He acknowledged that this is simply due to the variety of speakers and audiences in the world. You're never going to appeal to everyone, and you are never going to speak exactly the same as someone else. Rather than suggesting exactly what you should give a talk, Anderson aims to offer a bunch of tools you can use to improve a speaking ability, which makes totally sense because, as I said, we are all individuals, and so the audience is also some kind of, just something a lot individuals. So it will never be the same. If you just, talk about the same shit as the person before you, it doesn't matter because you're all different people. So So your only real job in giving a talk is to have something valuable to say, and to say it authentically in your own unique way. And today I've actually been thinking about, really just being shit, or just talking shit, or acting like shit. What I mean is that a lot of people just seem to be like, faking till they make it. Which, for me, it doesn't make any sense because they do not gain any trust. Anything. Nothing. If they're trying to build an audience and they just, just rent the Ferrari and sit in it just to take a photo of it with them inside, it doesn't make any sense because, the people will just mean that, he made it and, he has valuable content for me and valuable knowledge for me, and at the end they get nothing. This just, at the end it always comes down to you getting fucked, even though you just meant like, this will give me a boost on Instagram just because I have, pretty girls here and a nice car. It doesn't work. And therefore, I just do have to say, I haven't accomplished anything business-wise. The only things I've accomplished are these figures you can see on all my profiles. On Instagram, on Twitter, and all these things. There's nothing instead of them. Yeah, sure, there are things like my mindset and the knowledge I gained and all these things, but in business, just, really exactly and objectively and, figure-wise, it is only these small figures that you can actually see when you're on my YouTube channel, as I've actually turned them off, because I was thinking like, maybe people won't subscribe to me if they see that I only have 10 followers or 10 subscribers, which would some kind of make sense, because it is the same for me, kind of. If I just see that someone does not have so much subscribers, it depends on the content. If the content is pretty fucking good, I will definitely subscribe to him, which was happening to Bobby Misner. If you know this guy, he got a YouTuber actually 8 months ago, but really had his breakthrough I guess a month ago, and then he really blew up. So he immediately, as I saw his video, he had around, I don't know, 3K, 4K, and now he has 150, or maybe today actually 200K on YouTube, which is just an enormously growth, just because of one video. And the funny thing is that he blew up so much that maybe, and I even think about it as it is, a lot of people might have thought like, yeah, this was his overnight success, man. He just came here, made one video and blow up like nothing else. But that's not true, because I actually, looked at his channel, and then I saw, yeah, man, he actually started his journey 8 months ago. And he produced some, not daily, but constantly videos. So every single month or something. And this is it. He has been on this train of making videos longer than I'm doing, even though I just produce maybe 120 times more than he's producing, but it doesn't matter. He has good quality, and he's entertaining, and so on, yeah. So Anderson explains that when you are giving a talk, you need to be tapping into certain emotions, whether that be empathy or excitement, or perhaps sharing a dream or some new knowledge. If you can tap into the right emotions, you will be able to capture the attention of your audience and hopefully give them a new perspective on a topic they may not have known much about, which is actually true. There's nothing worse than having someone who speaks about something that's actually not giving you anything. It's not giving you value in terms of actual knowledge, not fun, some kind of, which is also for me something like knowledge, not knowledge but value, some other feelings in general, so feelings. And yeah, so just, if you're someone who's making a presentation, it always depends. Tomorrow I'm holding a presentation on a design, or I'm making a presentation on a design I've made with my partner, and therefore I can't be like, yeah, self-development is pretty great. I can't do that. It's because of it's in terms of the design we made, the website and all these things. I've actually shown them in the video. It was, I think, vlog number 3, I guess, or 4, but not 5. This is what I know. It's not 5. But yeah, so I can't really be like, yeah, but maybe I can find a way how to really bring them value in terms of an exciting presentation, or maybe in terms of the good design we made, or whatever. There's always a way. There's always a way. But yeah. Done right, a talk can electrify a room and transform an audience worldview, which is, I think, the thing in terms of TED Talks, which they all try some sort of, especially the motivational speeches that went on there, or just people like Jamie Oliver, as I mentioned him before, or Jocko Willink, so the author of what is it called? Extreme Ownership, which is the book that I'm actually right now reading, even though I do not actually have too much time to read, which is quite a pity. But this is actually a great book. I just really want to invite you to go through the cover text. So on the back of the book, just Google it. Maybe you kind of find it. It is a really great book. It is a really great book because there are a lot of great informations in it. These stories he's just talking about are pretty interesting. And this was actually also the thing I've been thinking about for tomorrow for my presentation, that I actually can make it some sort of story. I could also, tell some kind of story, but it also comes up or always comes up to how you prepare for your speech or for your presentation or whatever you're giving. So yeah, speaking as a learnable skill. Like many things, people often assume that public speaking requires a certain skill set that you either have or you do not have. There is nothing at my point of view, I'm just thinking right now, there should be quite nothing that requires a certain skill that you can actually do it, that you have to have or you have to be born with. Most of the things just can be done by you. You just have to put in the work. But if you really want to do them, do them. Just put in the work, and people are talented. Some people are actually talented in the same thing as you are willing to do. They have an advantage, but you have the advantage to just being able or just not having the talent and just being forced to work. And if you get into this spirit of working for what you really want or working for your dream, you could outwork them easily, because they be like, yeah, I have the talent, so I do not have to work, and therefore I won't do it, which is not good. But it's good for you, because you can put in the fucking work and you can outwork them, and you can then be the best on the field. Yeah. But Anderson points out that regardless of your nerves or fear, anyone can build the skill of presentation literacy. He explains that even if your confidence is low and you are incredibly nervous, there are steps you can take to improve your ability. One of the key points Anderson makes is that as a speaker you are never going to be Winston Churchill or Nelson Mandela, so stop comparing yourself. That's actually a pretty negative thought, actually, some sort of, but I assume that they are so fucking incredible speakers, especially Nelson Mandela. I really have to look up Churchill, because I've read a lot about him, especially in How to Win Friends and Influence People. He was mentioned quite often, if I remember correctly. I just have to look him up. The only thing you can be as a speaker is you, and you are the best you can be. You are you, and you should be proud that you are you. We are all individuals. Why would you ever be someone else than yourself? You might not be, maybe not the beautifulest one or the most intelligent one or the most, coordinated one, but you are you, and you are an incredible person. Totally. And period. Nothing to say else. You are an incredible person. Or an incredible person, actually. No, an incredible person. Actually, right. You are you, and you are the best. And Anderson reminds us to not judge your success on the applause at the end. Just because everyone wasn't standing up and cheering doesn't mean your speech wasn't a success. And therefore I just, kind of think like, yeah, if you're holding a presentation or making a presentation, whatever, there will cheer at the end. Or maybe not. But the thing is, if you have changed the worldview of one fucking person in the fucking audience, you have done your job greatly. Fucking greatly. Because then you just, achieved what you wanted. You may have not just, really been evolving the whole room or transforming the whole room, but you have transformed one life. And one life is incredibly long and has an incredible worth. Totally. So conversation sharing can work just as well. In fact, for a lot of audiences, it's better. Anderson explains that these days you really need to know how to present to a crowd. It's not a matter of choice, but a necessity. And it doesn't matter that the size of the audience is, but if you can develop some key skills and you be yourself, then you will find yourself succeeding. That's actually true. Just be yourself. Be you. I think, you are the best at being you, and nobody can be as good at being you than you can. So you should totally change or use that advantage for your profit or for your gain. You are the best you that will ever be on this planet. There may be someone who is identically looking like you, but you are you, and you're the best you. So yeah, ideas, actually a really great point to have it at first. Ideas are at my point of view the key to every design first of all, and every business first of all, and every fucking presentation first of all, because if there is a great idea, and it should be then quite, worked out and actually used, this idea, practiced, or just, made some sort of, everything is great. So the idea is kind of the fundamental of everything. For me, it feels like. So Anderson explains that the idea is the gift you are giving to the audience in a very great talk. As a speaker, you should set out to share something that you are truly passionate about. It's always the same. As you can see, I'm talking about being passionate about what you work all the fucking time. The fucking time. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just thinking and talking and acting and whatever on it all the time. Because I think it's important to actually be doing something that you're passionate about. And you can never think about something that you aren't passionate about in a passionate way. There's no way you can do this authentically. Yeah, you can, bullshit something around, but this shouldn't be done. Why would you do that? Just, speak about something or on something that you're truly passionate about. And it will make everything easier and you will be much happier by doing it. Period. It's what it is. If I would work on something I definitely do not like, or if I was talking about something that I actually, I'm so not fucking interested, I won't be that, so passionate about it right now. I wouldn't talk about it so passionately than I'm doing right now. And if I wasn't doing if I wasn't doing this, if I was doing something different, I would also not be that passionate about it. Fuck yeah, man. So as a speaker, you should set out to share something that you're truly, something that you care about, and share your passion with the audience. Anderson considers, and actually people will feel it. People will feel your fucking passion you have about some things. They feel it. It's some kind of instinct that a lot of people have, or I would even say all people have. We tremendously, have the instinct to just, filter out bullshit and people who are just bullshitting around. So, yeah, please talk about something you're passionate about and work on something you're passionate about. Anderson considers the message to be your idea. He explains, do I actually have? No, I haven't. I hope there was no fucking music in this fucking recording, or I would just totally explode. I hope. I really hope. I deeply hope. It will be okay. I will upload anyways, but the thing is, I've been talking about so important things right now, and so passionately about the things which should be really given to you as it was meant. He explains that by sharing your idea, you should be providing the audience with a mental image and an idea, something that has affected them, something that they can remember, reflect on, and hopefully share with others. Take something that matters deeply to you and to rebuild it inside of the minds of listeners. The starting point. Anderson explains that your starting point has to be your idea, which is totally what I'm talking about before. Your idea is kind of the fundamental of everything, of the whole concept of your presentation, the concept of your business, the concept of your life, practically or theoretically. An idea can be anything from an image, a story, a how-to, your dream to the future, for the future, or even a simple reminder of something that's important to you. Many people massively underestimate the value of their work and their learning and their insights. More likely you have more in your worth sharing than you're even aware of. That's totally true. And the thing is, I've actually been talking about it just in the last episode as well, and it felt kind of great to just point it out because it is important. If this episode is really fucked up, I will definitely upload it anyways. Because the thing is, there might be the slightest chance that somebody who is listening to me, who is maybe stumbling across this podcast in some day, even when I died or something, I don't know, that it's so incredible valuable for them, or just, makes their day, that I would be just some kind of selfish to not really upload it. It would be actually selfish, and I wouldn't give people theoretically the chance to get my stuff. I'm not gonna say that my stuff is, the best thing that's created on the world or whatever. Totally not. There are people who are making a way better job than I'm doing right now. Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Eric Thomas actually. But maybe someday, one fucking person on this entire planet will need what I'm saying, what I'm talking about my whole time on Instagram, on my podcasts, on the YouTube videos, anything. Some will need it, maybe. And for this, maybe I'm even sitting here for this, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. So many people massively underestimate, and I've read that one. So Anderson explains that as a speaker, you have something powerful to share, something that nobody else has, and that's your experiences and your life. That's totally true. Nobody else experiences things exactly as you do, so you can start there. Audience are enthralled. I do not know what this means. Enthralled by personal stories and anecdotes, even if the lesson is one they've heard before. Your perspective is original and exciting. That's totally true, and you're the only person who can describe your site, how you just really how you've seen these things, how you've lived these experiences, these scenarios, these happenings. You're the only person who can describe them so fucking deeply and so just detailed as nobody else could, because you are the only person who just experienced it the way you experienced it. Procrastination, total bullshit. Just do it. It's especially with things like YouTube and or Instagram and these things that actually do not cost any money for you but only time. I do have to have quite a lot of time because I'm sitting here, especially in the weekends, for actually quite 2 hours every day to create these episodes, and even more if you just take the time and take the time I'm actually creating the Instagram posts and all these other posts and actually posting them and or scheduling them for the next day. If you take all these times and add them together, you come to an additional 2 to 3 hours a day, which is, let's go with 3 because that's 21 hours a week, which is kinda a half-day job, if you can say it like this, I don't know. So not 40 hours, but quite a half. So 20 hours additionally to my 40-hour week I'm having in my school. And it's fun for me. And so especially with things that do not cost any money, why would you be pondering around? Why would you just be like, I don't know if this works. I hope this is even, what procrastination means. I actually, to be really honest, I do not know a lot of vocabularies. But most of the time I just read over them and be like, never mind. I shouldn't be doing this. So Anderson explains that as a human, we are all expert procrastinators. But when the opportunity to speak publicly arises, use this as your motivation to research and learn about the topic that is always interested you or that always was interesting to you. But you have never pursued out of pure laziness. Use the opportunity to drive you and find your passion. You might know a bit about something you think you'd be good with. So you might know a bit about something you think would be a good topic. Start there and truly immerse yourself in the topic, learn all the angles and begin to create your story. Which is actually the same thing as I would suggest you to do after college or after school or after you've just graduated, and I will hope that I will do the same. I really hope. I'm graduating next year actually, and I hope I will do the same. I just trying out things and really looking for what I'm truly passionate about. I am now in a school where I'm actually working in terms of my design. I like designing, I love designing. It's kind of my passion, and I'm really passionate about that. I was able to use this passion of graphic designing with the passion of speaking. Actually, I like speaking. I like making or holding presentations, even though I might be a little bit chittering around or just a little bit excited before all of them. I like these things and I like to talk So I just try to connect all my passions or just all the things I like to do to one thing, and this seems to be that or what I'm now doing right now, and I like it. I deeply like it, even though I think yesterday was the first and only hopefully day that I've really been thinking like, yeah, I actually do not want to record an episode today because I was feeling that bad, and I just will talk about this so fucking long from now on. I guess this will always be the day. This day I wasn't feeling good, but yeah, in terms of what I was or what I initially wanted to say is that at my point of view after school, and this is actually something that's Gary Vee been spreading around, and but I believe in it, and I think it's actually right that you should be trying out a lot of things. It doesn't matter if it's if you just work for someone you just really admire and really think that will give you a start ahead in this area, and then just work for them for free as an internship guy or person or girl. So or just by, I don't know, just by trying out at first all these things you think you like, and just seeing if this is doing great, and maybe you come to the point where you say, yeah, this is actually something I've been doing in my leisure time that I thought this is actually my passion, but it isn't. So then you do something else and something else and something else until you find that one thing that will make you happy your whole life long, if you haven't found it. So I quite hope that I found the thing I'm willing to do my whole life long, which is this now. I hope, even though it might get a little bit better in terms of the quality, in terms of the setup, in terms of maybe actually speaking with other persons, but I think this actually would be something great. Language. So if you have followed Anderson's advice, you have started with an idea and you have done plenty of research, and now you have a story to tell, something meaningful to share with your audience. Anderson reminds us that the goal is to recreate your idea effectively in the mind of your audience, which is totally true, because, and this is, I think, the easiest way to make this or to achieve this is by telling stories. We all people, and this might even be the reason why quite a lot of people just were listening to stories as they were children as an audiobook. I've always been such a person. For really sleeping, I've always been just listening to audiobooks, which was always great because they have stories in it. And we guys, and this is something I've been reading on, or just I've read so often, we all seem to be really appreciating stories, and therefore you should be giving stories to the people. Just being like, actually, as the author says, creating the image and the actual experience for them. And for me, or as I view it now, and quite easy thing would be just to create a story and just to really describe everything you have seen, if it's an experience you have made, or so on. Yeah. Actually, see how long I'm in. 33 minutes. So yeah. However, Anderson explains that it is quite simple. Using language, you can brilliantly tell a story with a certain spin and the right amount of detail, and the audience will be on exactly the same page as you. You can connect with strangers in a room through the common tool that you share, language. You can only use the tools that your audience has access to. If you start with only your language, your concepts, and your assumptions, you will fail. So start with theirs. And this is, you just see that a lot of people are talking about the same things, and then you recognize it, and all the things underlines the other things, that this is actually true. And this is exactly what Dale Carnegie was talking about in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is that you should be talking about the other things, or the other person's preferences and or stories, just to be generally interested in them. And this way will make everything better. Because we all are selfish, we all are just thinking about ourselves, And if you're then a person who is just really interested in the other person, this will make a deep change in, you know, how the conversation will go. Another note that Anderson makes here is that you need to consider what your audience's potential knowledge or understanding is on your topic. You can't simply dive into the deep end of a rather intricate subject and expect them to keep up. Consider where you were at the beginning of your knowledge journey and take them down the same path. You can't make jumps without explaining the process. And this then kind of comes up to your presentation itself and the story you are telling, because just really making it enough detailed, you know, so that you can just, you know, come along with you and just know what you are actually talking about, but not too detailed that it is boring. As actually the author just before was telling. Yeah. Oops. I'm sorry. I just today unfortunately fucked up. I will hold it. Will I hold it? It will hold. I do not have to hold it. Everything good. I do hope I'm not like whistling like in today's or last episode, because there I was just, you know, speaking like this, and this is not nice to listen to. So yeah. What to avoid and common traps. Anderson explains that there are 4 styles of a talk that you need to avoid, despite how easy they may be to fall into. These styles are the sales pitch, the ramble, the org bore, and the inspiration performance. So we'll discuss these in a little more detail below. So the sales pitch, Anderson explains that as a speaker, you are there to give back to your audience. So you're a speaker and you should give something back to your audience. But some speakers make the mistake of planning to take something from the audience. Being generous as a speaker is going to be well received by the audience. You really don't want to look like a self-promoter. Actually true. TED Talks are designed to be short, so the ramble. TED Talks are designed to be short, and there are only approximately 18 minutes in length, and there's not a lot of time. For this reason, you really have to get to your point. Consider your audience's time as precious and don't waste it. Rambling is not going to sit well with an audience. You're likely to lose their attention. So stick to the point and make sure you present your idea in the best way possible. And therefore, the best way is just the best way. You know, perfectionism, which is something I've been talking about quite a lot, is something that's pretty bullshit, because you just, you know, waste such a lot of time through it or by doing it. You could have used to do something different or something maybe more important. Anderson explains that you make, so the org bore, sorry for not reading this the headlines. Anderson explains that you make work for an organization you are truly proud of. The history of the company may be fascinating to you, whether you are an NGO or a laboratory. However, the audience doesn't want to hear about the timeline of a company. They want to hear about the work that you do, the ideas that the company has, the mission. Don't focus on the organization or the products. Think big picture mission statements. And this is actually just, you know, pretty much underlines the thing about storytelling. If you just, you know, talk about dates where, you know, the company got established and all these things, just really dry things, yeah, you can actually push them up a little bit and just, you know, push them up a little bit by actually telling the story how everything went, how you know, created or build up your whole company and all these things. This might be a good idea and this might be pretty interesting to some people. But only just talking about, 1984, this is actually a good book, George Orwell, 1984, great book, have to read it. You know, on this date, I just, you know, established my company, or just, you know, it was, you know, officially my company, and so on, just like, you know what I mean. So the inspiration performance, everyone wants to be an inspiration, and as an audience member, you're looking to be inspired. But Anderson explains that there is a power within being inspirational, and you have to be careful where you treat. Many speakers are driven by the promise of fame, adoration, and they all want to be considered as an inspiration. But Anderson points out that inspiration is something to be earned, and it is only going to be earned when it's not the prime motivation. You can't act out being inspirational, it needs to be selfless and genuine. So don't walk in there aiming to be an inspiration, but if you're true to yourself and your message, your mind just be. Yeah, that's totally true. Well, did I per language? No. What about the common traps? So the sales, the tremble, the Orchborn inspiration performance. Yeah. I think this then might be, and I just lost the sentence I just wanted to spit. This is actually the same thing with money. If you just drive for money, this is the fastest way to not get it. And this seems to be actually the same thing with being inspirational. And this seems to be the thing with quite a lot of things. So the thing with money is, and I've been talking about it, I think actually way too often, just driving for money won't get you to a lot of money. Because then you will fuck up all your customers because you're just thinking about the money and not the value or the service you give to them, or you might be shitting around and make something illegal or something that's not right, or just something that's maybe even ethically not right. So I don't know, working with some companies. I don't want to say anything because but at least I do really want to talk about the point. This is just a quote of him, which, should round up the whole episode. So the point of a talk is to say something meaningful, but it's amazing how many talks never quite do that. They leave the audience with nothing they can hold on. And with that being said, I'm actually pretty happy that you gone through this with me, and I hope you just got quite a value out of it, even though there might have not been too much information because I was the only person who was talking about all the time. I'm sorry about that. But I'll see you the next time. Love you. Actually tomorrow. And I hope you are the happiest person right now. Yeah. Happiness is key, at my point of view. Is key. See you.